This game is an important game. So they want to mock us all they want to mock us. I'm telling them it's not over. So they can print all that crap all they want all over their locker room. It's not over. It'll never be over here. It's just starting. I find a lot of the things that they do amusing. They need to check themselves sometimes. But just remember, pride comes before the fall.
Anything specific?
Just here, pride comes before the fall.
It's a fake. Bates is going to throw. He's going to touchdown! Michigan State wins it in overtime.
Three-man rush. Cousins on the last play of regulation chucks it to the end zone. Caught. Michigan State's caught it on a rebound. Hold on. It is just short of the end zone.
After further review, the runner did cross the line.
Touchdown, Michigan State.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
Hello and welcome to episode 70 of The Fizz. Thank you all for joining us on this very special bonus episode of The Fizz. I am here with my co-host, former MSU running back, J.U. Kalkrick. Say hi, J.U.
Hi, J.U.
And the numbers guy, the hottest gambler on this side of the state, Chandler Nash. How are we doing, Chandler?
Doing good, Frank. Thank you.
So, guys, this is a very special episode, obviously bonus episode this week. There's something special going on this week. We got a couple teams meeting in East Lansing. They're going to play a football game. And we have a very, very important guest, thanks to our friend J.U. here. We had Mark D, Coach D, Mark Dantonio. Just spoke to him for about, I don't know, what would you guys say, 15, 20 minutes?
15 to 20. Oh,
yeah. Great conversation. Talked about his time at MSU, the rivalry. We did a little over-under with the guy. It's great. So you'll want to stick around and listen to that. But right now, let's talk about this Saturday.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for it. I will be live and in action. I have a work trip planned. I was supposed to fly back Saturday. I couldn't book my trip till this week, till I found out when the start time was going to be. Now that it's a noon start time, I'm flying back Friday night, cutting an event that I have to be at Saturday.
Spartans will.
Exactly. Game day will be there. Barstool Sports will be there.
Big Noon Fox.
Big Noon will be there.
First time all three have been in the same spot. I don't know what that means, but that's the first time they've all decided to go to the same place.
It's going to be electric in East Lansing.
It's part of fall in Michigan. You've got the Lions losing. You've got Uggs, cider, donuts, and you've got the Michigan State game. And if you're from this area, you know this is the biggest weekend of fall.
Well, you said Uggs, so I got to take back to my college days. Uggs, yoga pants, blonde hair, big sunglasses.
Hey, whoa, relax, big guy. All right, relax, fella. Relax. All right. Yeah, okay. Great. Yeah, no, I'm horny too. It's a horny week. No, I get it. I'm right with you. I totally understand. Yeah, but this is... And speaking of all that, everything you just named, let's put it in a pot. This is when I get so jealous that I'm not a student anymore. My wife, tells me to grow up every day. This is when she's really telling me to grow up. These are the weekends that you go to college for. Not only is it Michigan State, they're both undefeated. The game's in East Lansing. It's Halloween weekend, which is, no forgettable holiday in EL. So you mix all that together into a pot, and it's a great weekend to be a Michigan State college student.
It's a double whammy. Like you said, you've got the best holiday of the year on campus, arguably Halloween, and then you've got the biggest game of the year, bar none, for Michigan and Michigan State. It's a double whammy. Please, everyone up there, have a fucking blast. I don't care what you do. Have a fucking blast this weekend. You're only going to get this once every fucking 10 moons.
Did I mention it's fall in East Lansing?
Yeah.
You got Uggs, you got yoga pants, you got big sunglasses, you got blonde hair girls.
Yeah, we're all excited. I could have just edited that in after. You don't need to do it with your phone. Like, we could have done that in post. Man, oh man.
I
All
just
right.
got this new thing.
No, it's fun.
It's the Bill's Third Down train app.
Oh,
sponsored by
it's like the
Amtrak.
ham horn, like the
Yeah.
I'll edit it and I won't make the noise. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, guys, we're going into it, and I don't like where do you begin with this one? You know, do you want to talk about the game? We kind of already talked about the hype of it. You know, let's talk about the actual game here. So, you know, we're betting guys. We don't have to like talk about if they're going to cover, not covered. Let's just kind of look at the whole picture here. I saw it last at up to 4.5 for U of M. 4.5 line in East Lansing. Pretty disrespectful, but that's where the line's open.
Very disrespectful. Chandler, you probably know this more. Usually the home team gets 3 and a hook, right?
Yeah, you know, in a rivalry game, I was expecting MSU to get 3 and a hook. You know what they're doing? They're going after the U of M sheep. Vegas knows that the Michigan fans are going to bet regardless of what the spread is. So they don't need the right fucking line. They just need a line that looks appetizing to Michigan fans. Big following. They know they're going to suck those sheep in. That's why the line's at 4 right now.
So I do have a question though, and I'm not taking any. I mean, I'm fucking dressed in green and white here. Obviously, we're Sparties, but also, I mean, you got guys like me. Sparty. I mean, State ain't no small school. We're not short on degenerates whatsoever. You know, I see 4.5, and I saw it at 4, and now it's up to 4.5. Like, I'm eating that alive. Like, so Sparty, you know, is eating. If we're getting points, we're eating that alive as well. So. I'm not trying to look for reasons to worry, but, you know, hey, I'm definitely thinking about it. Thinking about everything during a week like this.
Well, yeah, you got to think of everything during a week like this, especially the fact that Michigan State's coming off a bye week. That right there scares me.
You don't like that.
I don't like that.
You said
at
that
all.
before.
I don't like it. The only good thing a bye week does is if you have a program and you got guys that are injured. You give them that extra week to get healthy, but I don't like it. If you're a 6-0, 7-0 team, you want to keep rolling. Mm-hmm. You want to keep that same schedule. Football players are like, it's like the military. You want that schedule. This time you lift weights, you do this, you do that, you go to study hall, you go to dinner, you wake up, you do it all over again. You want that same schedule, and that just throws a little kink in there. And I think the advantages are in Michigan's favor going into this game. They played last week. It's a noon kickoff. So and that's another advantage in Michigan's favor, because if it was a night game, they'll have to take a bus to East Lansing on Friday night, and they have to sit in the hotel the entire time while big noon kickoff is here, while game day's here, while Barstool's here. All that stuff you're sitting in your hotel and you're watching it on TV. Yeah. You look out your window and you see these people going crazy. And it takes a toll on you. I remember when we played Notre Dame under the lights, college game day was here, and it was like that. It takes you get anxious and all that excitement builds up, and then you wait, and then by 6 o'clock is when you finally walk into the stadium, and they have you up at 7 in the morning. Yeah. That's a long day. Now you have to rebuild that energy. Yeah. And so I think those things. How
does it go for Michigan State players too? Because I mean they're buzzing too, right? I mean.
Oh yeah, you're buzzing. You're buzzing as well, but you're in your home environment. True. You know, you're used to. You're at the same hotel that you stay at week in and week out for every home game. You have the familiarity of your family. You can see your mom and dad in the hotel in the lobbies. You have that stuff going for you as well. So I think right now, the ball's in the corner of Michigan, but what they do with it, it's up to them. Yeah. But hey, don't get me wrong. Don't think any way, shape, or form that I'm picking the Bluebellies.
Well, no one thinks that. I mean, that's what I was just saying with the betting. You know, we're all like easing into it. Like, hey, I'm not a fucking traitor. Like, we're all on the same fucking page here.
Exactly.
We're all just fucking nervous and all juiced up. But in the vein of that point, so yes, just like on the surface level, if you have Team X playing, Team Y, this one's going in here, this one's got the bye week, that, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I think Michigan State, I really do believe the pressure is more on Michigan to win this game than it is on Michigan State. And that's almost solely, well, there's history there, but I mean, the big spotlight is on, it's Mel versus Jim Harbaugh, and I kind of just feel like Harbaugh needs this win, because if he loses this one, then it's going to be all the questions of the do we burn it down in Ann Arbor?
Yeah, and I agree with that, Frank. You got Mel Tucker in his first full year. He was only 6 games in before this season. Expectations were low in East Lansing. Michigan has been dying even to get a chance to go to the Big Ten championship. So when you have expectations like that, yes, there's a little more pressure in Michigan's court. And I'd like to say this, though. They got to come into the woodshed and beat us. And you know what? That's not an easy task to do. We've got a team that's always had a chip on our shoulder. But I do agree with you, Jay. Michigan's probably a little more in rhythm. Might take us a little while to get back into the routine. But, like you said, there ain't no way in hell I'm picking the Blue Bellies.
I mean, you gotta think, too, like the 1 year that fucking you got losses from Ohio State, Iowa, Penn State, Wisconsin's obviously out of it. Like the 1 year that they're all got a mark on their record, the one team standing in Michigan's way is the team from East Lansing.
Yep. Well, you might take this however way you want to take it, people, whatever, but I say the team that wins this game on Saturday will be the Big Ten champs.
Oh! Wow. Oh! Write it down.
Bold.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down.
We're writing everything down this week.
It's funny you say that, Jay, because I feel like this really starts the season for both teams. They really got off to kind of a cupcake start. Obviously, Michigan's out-of-conference game against Washington wasn't as good of a win as we thought it was going to be. Michigan State's win at Miami wasn't as good of a win as we thought it's going to be. They've got to play – each team has to play each other, Penn State and Ohio State, with only about 4 weeks left in the season. This is really when each team's season starts.
I agree with that. We are missing that litmus test of where we're at with the teams. And I had a buddy text me who's very down the middle with U of M, MSU. Sometimes I use him as a gauge of where I'm at because we're all fucking slappies. We're borderline taking our shirts off during this recording. And he fucking just texted me I don't think – he goes, personally, I don't think either teams are good. The game should be entertaining, but I don't think either teams are good. I told him to go fuck off. But it is just an interesting I don't think our schedule's been easy, and it's not easy to go 7-0 no matter what in the Big Ten. And we had to go down to Miami. I know those teams aren't as great as we thought they were going to be, but I am, I'm curious of this game and beyond. And I agree with you, Chandler. Season starts Saturday.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. I think we have pretty similar. We both beat teams that at the beginning Michigan State played Northwestern. We thought, wow, it's a good win for us. And then we found out Northwestern is who we thought they were. They're Northwestern. Yeah, all right. Michigan played a very bad Washington team who almost lost to Arizona. All right. And then we played a Miami team that's not as strong. We played the same with Nebraska and the same with Indiana. Rutgers almost beat them.
And I mean, it's just the Big Ten is the Big Ten. It's tough to win all those games. I don't care how good or bad the teams are. It's hard not to trip. And they had Nebraska, they had Rutgers, we had Nebraska and Indiana. It's just there's some games that you're gonna sweat out.
Well, at the end of the day, this game's gonna come down to the defenses. All right. Both teams have prolific offense. Michigan has very good tandem running backs. They have a good offensive line, and we know what Michigan's going to want to do. They want to come and maul you from the start of the game to the finish of the game. Our defense, we have that bend but don't break mentality, and so that's something that scares me. How many times can you go out there as a defense and sustain a 12-play drive? 12, 13, 14, 15. And on the other hand, we have an offense that can score at any time. So if our defense is out there for 12, 15 plays and our offense goes and shoots a moon ball to Naylor or Reed, defense is right back out there. Yep. So that's something that scares me. It's going to come down to the defense. It's going to come down to who has the most takeaways in this game.
And I mean, what is exactly what you said, we feel... at least I feel as a fan watching games that if we don't hit those big plays, we're not picking up yards, and like, Kenneth Walker's been amazing, but he usually busts a huge one at some point. And I felt like watching that Indiana game was just torture, watching pass after pass get knocked down or KW not having the rushing yards he should. Like, I hate that we rely on the big plays a little bit just out of pure nervousness that if they don't work, they don't work.
But I think it's, I don't think it's relying on a big play. I think it's staying true to who we are offensively. And that's something that's a little bit, it's 6 one to a half a dozen another. When previous seasons, like we stayed true to who we were. You ran jet sweep, you ran dive, and everyone knew what was coming. 3rd and long, you threw the ball.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, but
I'd rather take the shots. I just want to connect them.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to, but you can't connect on all of them. That's why they're called shots. Yeah. I think I don't have an issue with. I think our offensive line is going to come out ready to play. I think our offensive line is going to come out mauling. I think these guys are going to get entrenched into this rivalry. Because they had a little sniff of it last year with no fans, really.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's in East Lansing. These Spartan guys are going to be ready to go.
How could you not be?
Exactly.
Right?
How could you not be? And I know for a fact we got a message to the former players. Coach Tucker wants everyone, all the former players to video themselves, 3-4 minutes, on what this rivalry means to them. And he's playing it for the team. It said, be unapologetic, be yourself, because it's just going for the team. These guys are going to be bought into this. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to be fired up for this. And I know the guys down the road will be fired up for this, but I think they're coming in, as Michigan people do, thinking their shit don't stink. They're University of Michigan, and they can roll their fucking helmets on the field and win games. And they got another thing coming when they come into the woodshed, and they face the deep end.
Write it down.
That's right, baby.
Write it down.
Write it down.
I think that was a preview of his video he sent in to
I think
Coach
so.
Tuck.
I think so too. Because I'm ready to run through. Holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, JU as, and this is, could be, might be, probably will be the biggest stage. I mean, hopefully, State goes on and plays big, but like as a player, you're not going to have more eyeballs on you to this point in your career than right now. And it's like, if you want, you're trying to get to that next level. I mean, this is it, right?
This is where the scouts are coming.
Everyone's watching.
Every team that has a bye this week will have scouts at this game. Every team will have scouts at this game. It's the biggest. It's the biggest game on the market. And if you're Kenneth Walker, you want to make a Heisman statement. This is it. Yeah. This is the game that you want to make a Heisman statement in. Right. And I think they're going to show out. I believe, I have a eerie feeling that it's not going to be a game like people think it will be. I have a feeling it's going to be a lopsided game.
I mean, I feel good too. I get fucking nervous to actually verbalize, if I'm being honest. Like, just jinx it, knock on wood. Yeah, I mean, I feel fucking good. Like, and
speak it into existence, Frank.
The reason I feel good about it is because of just like, I just kind of feel like all the heat's on Michigan right now. I really do. I think there is way more pressure on them to win this game than there is on Michigan State. And it has a very similar lead up to so many fucking Michigan State games we've seen where we're lower seeded, we're the dog in the game. Like, the quotes come, like, I just feel like everyone is on Michigan again. And this is kind of where we live. This is like where we eat. This is like where we became the Spartan Dogs.
Right. And we're comfortable in this position. We touched on it. Getting 4.5 at home. I'm looking right now. Even money right now. 54-46 either way on both teams right now. So, you know what? The pressure is on Michigan more so than not. But, Jay, I wanted to ask you real quick, going back to the point. Not only is it a rivalry game, but you mentioned there's going to be a lot of scouts probably at the game. This is the game where you show out. What did you feel as a player, and how did the locker room feel? Were you whispering to each other knowing that was going to happen? Was it added pressure, or were you like, hey, I'm going to show out. I know this is one of, if not maybe the only opportunity to get some eyeballs on me in the league?
If you're a player, you're not thinking that stuff. It's in your mind on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, but as you get closer, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you get to that point. All you're thinking about is, I want to beat those fucking guys. The guys with the wing helmets, I want to beat them. I have specific memories where we're in the locker room at U of M, and Drew Stanton had a big stereo there, and on repeat was a U of M fight song over and over and over and over. And right before we got out, he took that thing, slammed it on the ground. The entire locker room goes absolutely crazy. Those are the moments that happens in college football. The moment in East Lansing, when you're sitting in the locker room, you go out there, you see the stadium's half full during warm-ups. You go back into the locker room, you're getting yourself ready. There's a little countdown clock going down there. Everyone's getting themselves ready in their form and fashion. Some guys have headphones on. Some guys are walking around. Some guys are just, doing whatever. Coaches, you see them pacing, walking back, and it's absolutely crazy. There's one moment that comes about that it's time to go. When you're sitting in the locker room in Spartan Stadium, and all of a sudden you hear, the band, the locker room walls start shaking. It's a holy shit feeling. Yeah. You look at each other like, let's fucking go. Yeah. Let's fucking go. And that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, with the crowd, the atmosphere, what Coach Tucker's bringing to the table, the way that the guys feel, the swagger, these guys are going in there believing that they belong on this field with that team. It's going to be something special.
Holy shit. Yeah, I'm rock solid right now just thinking about it. Like, not even fucking around. It's just an electric feel. I mean, like, right. I mean, what's the stat? I mean, have they ever been in the top 10 undefeated and played each other?
One time, 1957 or 56, I believe. When they wore leather helmets is when 2 versus 5 played. Other than that, the next highest ranked game, Trouble with the Snap, 7 versus 12.
Yeah, and we were 12. And we were 12,
won, right?
That's right.
And we were 12. Probably lower ranked both times.
Yeah.
So this is people say Coach Tucker needs a signature win, but realistically, fucking Harbaugh needs a signature win.
Harbaugh needs a signature fucking win.
What is his signature win? What team did they beat?
Wisconsin on the road this year. That's his signature win.
His signature win, or does he need a win like this when it matters the most?
I mean, think about it. He wins. I mean, obviously, if Mel wins this game, it's his biggest win, without a doubt. He's been here half a COVID year, and half of this year, obviously. This is without a doubt.
It's his biggest coaching win overall if he wins this game.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, yeah. All right. So one thing I do want to touch on that has nothing to do with the X's and O's on the field for MSU, U of M, is the uniforms, and the reason is just because MSU has some of the best uniform combinations in college football, before Tuck was here. But now that Tuck's here, even especially, we've had so many different uniform combinations, 3 different helmets this year, or maybe even 4. Because we've had the white and the green with the regular logo. Yep. So I'm curious, Michigan State, top 10 matchup. Everyone's there, Big Fox. What is MSU going to come out and wear this week?
That's a good one. One of my favorite uniforms of theirs that I think they're going to wear this week is the Pro Combats. The dark green with the black pants.
You think
and
they're
the
coming out with
gold
black?
Helmets.
Wow. No way.
I think they're coming out in black.
That's a callback. I mean, that's
Gardner.
That's the prime of you and me being there. Yeah. I bought the Cousins version of that jersey.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yes. I think that's what it's
got red wine stained on it. You can't see it, though, from slapping the bag.
Josh.
Yeah, no, not that. I couldn't afford Josh. It was Franzia, like Chalable red.
Yeah. That reminds me of Devin Gardner, Connor Cook, that whole era. I think I would love to see the whites, but they're not going to give the Michigan Liberty to come in their maize and blue into the woodshed. They're not going to do that. I think Michigan State's going to wear the dark green with the white pants, the block S on the helmet with the dark green helmet.
Okay, I'm pretty close to that. I think they're Green Machine. I think they're Green Machine head to toe. I think they want it smothered in green. I think it's green pants, green jerseys, green helmets.
Should we put a beer on it?
Yeah, put a beer. Let's see who gets the close. If you hit, it's no, dude. If you
it's
hit,
not inside trading.
It's not Long Island iced teas from Rick's. If they come out in those fucking combats, that would be nuts. Absolutely nuts. And traditional Sparty on the helmet is. I think there's no way they don't.
It's gonna be traditional.
There's no way they
Spartan
go gruff for the script. Yeah. I think that would be wild.
Right. Yeah.
Unless they just went full nuts and went with that like old logo, like
Pro Combat, baby.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm just juiced. I will be there in full. I'm gonna be tucked in for Tuck.
Tucking for Tuck.
I'm gonna be tucked in for Tuck once again. I will be shotgunning beers. I will be doing shots of Fireball.
Yeah.
If you got some McAllens, I'll throw some of that down as well. And I will have a victory cigar at the end of the night.
Yeah, and I gotta, I'm not gonna apologize for this, but kind of apologize. I'm not going up. The reason I'm not going up, I got a group of guys that I used to watch every single game with. Everyone's having kids now, getting married. Life's tough. I don't get to watch games with these guys anymore. I'm getting a chance to watch it with them, and just them. No kids, no significant others, just the boys getting together to watch this game. I couldn't pass it up. These are the guys I watched all 4 years with during the Dantonio era. Got to watch it with them. So I'm pumped for my plans too. I am bummed though I'm not going to be there just to see it. I wouldn't recognize the place, and I haven't been back there since 2016. The last time I was there, it got real fucking spooky, real haunted. A lot of demons came out. Got to keep the demons caged this weekend, and fucking hopefully get a win.
I mean, what do you guys see going more to X's and O's? Jay, I'm going to ask you first. What do you see as the key to victory for each team? So let's start with Michigan. How does Michigan beat Michigan State this weekend? And then obviously, how does Michigan State beat Michigan this weekend?
Michigan wins the game if they run the football. They run the football consistently. They attack. Michigan State's defense keeps them on the field for long, sustaining drives and come out with points other than field goals in those drives. They win the game if they do that. If they win the run game battle, they're going to win the game. Michigan State side of things, they have to come up with turnovers. They have to pressure the quarterback, and they have to come up with turnover defensively, and they have to hit on at least 3 big plays, 3 explosive plays you got to hit on. Coaches have charts like explosive plays in a game. If you get the goal for explosive plays are 5. You want 5 explosive plays. If you get 3 out of that 5, that's a good day.
Yeah.
Okay. Frank, what do you think's the key to the games this week?
I honestly, I think it's like you said, the run game, and I think we need to make Michigan scared to drop back to pass. I want at halftime them debating who's coming out at quarterback. That's what I want. I want them to be nervous to drop back to pass, kind of like how we feel with Goff on the Lions right now. And I want at halftime for people to be looking, Michigan fans to be looking at each other going, which quarterback's coming out? Which quarterback's starting the second half? I think if we're able to do that, and, I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand. Our secondary has been suspect to give up some plays. I think we absolutely cannot do it versus Michigan's passing attack. There's no reason we should be allowed to do that.
100%. And I agree a lot with what you guys are saying. And, JU, to your point, I think the first 15 minutes is very pivotal in this game. Yeah. If Michigan jumps out, if Michigan takes a lead, they can kind of control the game or the pace of play. Does Michigan State come out flat because they had a bye week last week? I think the first 15 minutes are going to be very pivotal. And then to your point, Frank, if they have a bad first 15 minutes, you're going to start hearing it. You're going to start saying, where's JJ? Is he coming in? Cade's not good enough. Wait, we're going to have to come from behind. I think that's a big key to the game. And I also think for Michigan, a big key to the game is 3rd and less than 4. Michigan wants to grind this game down. Michigan is going to run the first 2 plays on a ton of drives. There's going to be a lot of 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 4s. Can Michigan State get off the field and get the ball back to their offense? Or, Jay, to your point, is Michigan going to get these 12, 15, 18 play drives where they're grinding off 6-7 minutes of the clock and keeping our offense on the sideline? I think those are my keys to the game. 1, the first 15 minutes. 2, the length of Michigan drives and how long they can keep that potent Spartan offense on the sideline.
And one thing that Michigan State definitely has the advantage in that people always overlook in the game of football is special teams. Mm-hmm. All right? If you're Michigan, you're saying, don't kick to Reed. Mm-hmm. Don't kick to Naylor. Like, what do? Do you just kick it out of bounds all the time? And then you're playing in East Lansing now. You got the fans there. I know these guys were not part of trouble with the snap, but if you're a punter in this game, that's got to be somewhere in the back of your head.
How could it not be?
Exactly.
Spartan Sage would just be playing it on repeat in between every time they change the personnel, they come out, they should have it. I'm calling, I think first possession Michigan State, we're going to get a deep shot. I think right away you're going to get a flea flicker. I'm not even kidding. I could see Mel coming out first play, faking it to or handing it to KW, tossing it back and going for a flea flicker. I don't know why. I just feel it.
I think I totally agree that there's going to be some type of chicanery, but what I think it will be, I think it's going to be a throwback to the quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Little wide receiver reverse. You give it to the running back toss it to the wide receiver, quarterback sneaks out.
Well, we saw Thorne go up and get one.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
We saw Danny Dimes yesterday too, but I'll leave that for later.
Yeah,
Maybe
We're doing
later
another
in the
show
week.
later in the week.
But,
I really don't want to hear that.
I
right
think
now.
my
Like
big
wearing
play.
Giants blue too.
I think my big play, and I agree with you guys, and I told someone this earlier today. I think Michigan State is going to do a toss back on a punt this week or a kick return, whereas they kick it to one side of the field and they're going to Frank Y check it to the other side of the field, launch one over, and take a big special teams play. To JU's point, the special teams is where we have an advantage. He's shaking his head because I Frank Y check. I hit a nerve on it. I didn't mean to. I did not even plan that out. I think they are going to have a play like that where they toss it back in some form or manner, and they're going to get a big chunk and start in Michigan territory because of a big return, punt, or kick.
See, I like your thought. I like mine. Frank's too vanilla.
Just a flea flicker? You don't like that?
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, Michigan State's flea flicker you. How many times have we done it? So it's old hat now.
No, okay. Well, I'm saying on the first fucking 4 plays. In the first 4 plays, you'll be a flea
That's
flicker.
been done before.
Okay, so is your plays have been done before, but not with as much frequency. And speaking of not planning stuff, I don't have on the rundown, like, let's all guess the trick play MSU's going to do.
I know, but I like where it's going.
No, I do too. I
like
love
where
it.
it's
I love
going.
it. Guess the trick. If they fucking open that game with a flea flicker, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll take my pants off. Probably going to do that anyways. I haven't been this excited for a game probably since, I don't know. It's been a long time. Probably since, the Final Four. But even then, we were playing Bama. Like, it was, you were definitely like, oh, I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to be here.
While we're making predictions, I say, I'm going real degenerate.
Just waving fingers.
I'm
at
going
us.
real degenerate here.
What?
Coin toss tails.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Sparty defers.
Wow. So Michigan gets the ball first on a tails.
Yes.
Okay.
Nuts. Are we guessing Kool-Aid colors or Jesus Lions? Guessing Gatorade colors here too.
I don't know if this is a bet on the board, but I'm going to up degenerate JU right here. He says tails and Michigan gets ball first. Give me Connor Hayward anytime touchdown scorer.
All right, if we're picking nut shit, I'll go coin toss tails. They pick the side of the field. Just kidding. That was just lame. Can't you pick the side of the field? No.
Yeah, then you don't get the ball at all.
What? Yeah, you just pick the side of the field and they decide what they want to do with it.
Frank's going real nuts. He's saying they're going to have a flea flicker.
Yeah. Whoa.
All right. Mine's not even nuts. You guys are going nuts.
He's drinking Sam Adams. Watch out.
I would never choose to drink Sam Adams. This is what was provided to me by whoever brought him, and I appreciate it. Fuck it, I'm happy to have a beer. Coughlin's gonna hit a 50-yarder. There's my one prediction. That's as weird as it gets.
Oh, God.
Here we go.
He's redhead.
Yeah.
I don't trust him, and I don't trust kickers.
Hey,
I don't want to come down to kickers.
That soulless guy. That soulless fucking
That
most
ginge.
field goals in. We're just like dogging him. He's like our kicker.
Yeah, but he's been there 8 years.
Yeah, a lot of kicks.
Jay, I want to ask you a quick question. You're from Buffalo. You're from the upstate New York area. What, if any, publicity or national attention did you see in this rivalry before you get to Michigan State? And did that play a factor into picking Michigan State? Was this rivalry that they had with Michigan?
That's a great question. That's a great point. Upstate New York, that you get a lot of Penn State games. Everything. You see a lot of Michigan fans in that area there too, because they're just all Walmart Wolverines. But coming in the factor in this, because I formed a good relationship with T.J. Duckett, and so I watched his career, and so Michigan State was on TV a lot back then, ABC, everything like that, and so that's one of the biggest reasons I chose Michigan State, is because that catch that TJ had, like being like, wow, I want to be that guy. I want to play in the game like this. There's not, you can go to play at a big time D1 college Power 5 schools, but you can name probably only 5 really good rivalry games that are like this, and so this is something that you want to play in. This is something that if you're a kid from Michigan, you want to play in this. And for years, Michigan State has benefited off those kids that weren't quote unquote good enough to go to Michigan, and they're going to say, "Fuck you! I'm going to go to State and I'm going to beat you."
Right. And was that something that when you got onto campus right away, you knew like, hey, like Michigan circled, you know what I mean? Like, was that the thing? Like, it was like, hey, welcome to Michigan State. First, here's your pads, here's your jersey. Second, fuck Michigan.
It was on my recruiting visits.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's when I learned the term blue belly. Those guys down the road, everything. My mother, she sweetest lady, but I heard her once say "fuck Michigan." I clutched my pearls.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, security questions. What team you love to see lose? Michigan every time, right? I mean, that's where I'm at. All right, boys. Well, if we got anything else to cover, otherwise, we should move into our gambling picks because we still owe the fans that. We need to pick which teams we think are going to win this weekend for college football. Is there anything else we want to touch on before we get into that?
I don't really have anything else to touch on. The one thing I really hope from a Michigan State fan perspective is that we want Cade McNamara in the game. And I know that has been a hot topic for Michigan fans. I see a lot of my buddies who are Michigan fans saying, why is JJ not playing? Us as Michigan State fans, we want Cade in the game. We are going to beat Michigan if Cade plays the full 60 minutes.
And it's like you want him thinking about it at half, but you don't want him to pull the trigger.
Correct.
100%. And that's kind of full circle. It's like we can't give up any. They should be scared to pass. I want them scared to. I mean, literally, I think of that last drive with the Lions, and we ran the ball all the way down the field, 9 minutes, and we dropped back to pass, once, and it was a pick. We should be scared. They should be scared to drop back to pass. I can't wait for the game. It's the most excited I've been for a game for a very long time, especially with the state of Detroit sports. We can move into our college picks here unless you guys got anything you need to.
No, I'm ready for my college picks. I'm
right.
good to go. I'm good. Let's go. Let's get it.
Well, lucky for me, I'm only taking dogs this fall. It's an all-dog fall. For better, for worse, all dogs. And guess what? I'm a Spartan dog, and the dogs are barking this weekend. Plus 4.5, Michigan State in East Lansing over Michigan. Take money line. Don't even take the 4.5.
Let me take this, Frank. Yeah. Fuck the points. Fuck Michigan. I'm taking Michigan State. That's disrespectful that we're getting 4.5 in the woodshed when we beat their ass last year. Tuck coming. We're going to take them out behind the woodshed, and we're going to beat them down. You can take the fucking 4.5. I'm taking the money line. I don't want odds. I want Michigan State winning. And guess what? You can give me a win or a loss based on that pick. But, hey, 165 is what I got it at today, plus 165. State's coming. Tuck's coming. Go green. Fuck blue. Michigan State's going to win this weekend.
That's spicy. Ay, muy caliente.
Yeah.
Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti.
I'm busting out of my pants.
Ypsilanti, Cincinnati. Spartans by 100.
Spartans by 100. You guys want to do score predictions?
Yeah, I'll do score prediction.
Lead it off.
I say 34-17 Spartans.
Ooh, I am very close to that, Jay. I got 27-17 MSU.
I think it starts raining towards the end, so I'll cut the points back a little bit. Let's go 24-10. Let's hold them to 10 points.
It better not rain. I don't want to get wet out there.
Oh, you'll be just fine, buddy.
No.
Frank's like taking Michigan 24-21, but MSU still covers.
That is the most disrespectful thing I have ever fucking heard in my life. That is, like, incredible that you would say that. And actually, I was going to say, before Chandler so fucking rudely jumped in there, because he's rock solid right now, which I don't blame him for, if State did lose by 3 and we still covered and won the money, I'd throw the money in the trash. I'd go to an ATM, pull it out, throw it in the trash.
I'll give you an alternative, Frank. Just throw it on the Lions next Sunday.
Yeah, fine. Deal.
Hey,
all right, boys.
The Lions are back, baby.
All right, boys. Well, so that's how we feel about the game. Can't wait for it to happen. Obviously, we're a little one-sided. If there's any Michigan fans who stuck around for the entirety of this show, like, fucking good on ya. I would never listen to a Michigan show like that. But, hey, let's get into what you came here for, most likely. It's the interview, J.U., Chandler, Frank, with the MSU coach for 13 years, 2007 to 2019. Record during that time, 114-57, making him the winningest coach in MSU history. 8 wins against the team from Ann Arbor, 3 Big Ten championships, a Rose Bowl win, only 13-win season in MSU history, 9 conference wins by double digits in the year 2013, college playoff in 2015. Through 2010 to 2015, this guy's record was 65-16, which made my college experience absolutely electric. Introducing the former head coach of Michigan State University, Mark Dantonio.
JU.
Coach.
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
First, let me introduce you to my partners here. There's Frank and it's Chandler.
How you doing, Coach D?
Hi, Coach.
How we doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
They're all Sparties, so you're in good hands.
All right. What kind of time thing are we looking at? 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Okay.
I know you're about your business here, so I'll just jump right into it, Coach. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for taking the time to join us. My first experience with you was, like I talked to you about on the sidelines of the Nebraska game, was remember when you walked in the first day you were introduced as the head coach there. And, one thing that stuck out to me in your presser was how Michigan State was a destination, not a stepping stone for you. Like, what did it mean to be the head coach at Michigan State?
Well, I had an obvious positive having been there before as an assistant coach, so I understood the culture a little bit, the traditions, and I saw it as a place that, I look back to the 60s when they won national championships, and even though it had been a long time ago, I've always felt like, if you've done it one time, it can happen again, as evidenced by what they're doing this year, It's not like they haven't won there before, so it's a positive, and I saw that in that respect, and always liked East Lansing, and I just thought it was a major university with a national reputation.
Good, sweet. Obviously, when you came in, you really put a focus on paying attention to details and, being a guy that was there under the previous regime. And that was a little different for me. And, simple things like in training camp, you made us room with people that we didn't know with the different position and everything like that. Like, what was the thought process behind? Is that just how it is to build a program and build something up? Just like, like you said, paying attention to the details. No, it's all good.
Hold on. You add to get somebody at the door here. Okay. We're going to have to start over, JU.
Okay, no problem. No, I said, I was there with the previous regime before you got there, and it was a complete 180 about face from, the culture that it was and the culture that you brought in, such as having us room with, guys for different positions from different, parts of the country and everything, not guys that we're familiar with. Was that just one of your steps in creating a culture to something that you saw that worked at your previous destinations?
Well, I think that I've had the examples put forth by Nick Saban and by Jim Tressel, and some of the things that I experienced with them, tried to carry over and then make my own decisions on things. So I just felt like it was so important to address the issue of team. The people getting along and working with each other and getting to know everybody. And I think sometimes with whether you're in the position group or whatever, maybe you're a senior, you don't get to know the freshman or whatever the case is. It's all about everybody growing it together, and it's always going to be about getting along with each other and those type of things. So I also felt like I think you guys, we roomed opposite positions. That sort of changed as we went forward. So I was just always looking for a leg up on other people and trying to do things a little bit differently. So I knew the one thing that we had to do when we came there was we had to get people positive and feeling good about each other first.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, Chandler here. I actually was coming into school when you first started, and something that really turned the tide in my eyes and a lot of Michigan State's fans' eyes was the phrase, pride comes before the fall after the loss in 2007. I know it originated from a biblical verse. Where did that originate from? Is that something you live by? Was that a spur of the moment thing, or were you prepped for that in the post game conference?
No, I was never prepped with that. That just sort of came out, I guess. I don't know. Just a spur of the moment. Just a moment. So I don't know. I don't want to make too big a deal of that. I do know that I said it's not over. It'll never be over. I do feel like that. In any rivalry, whether it's Ohio State, Michigan, or whether it's Michigan State, Michigan, or whatever. But for Michigan State, the Michigan game's a huge rivalry, and you sort of weigh yourself there. You sort of count and say, okay, what was your record against Michigan when you played? And those type of things. So they weigh a little bit more. Give it a little bit more focus, and it's going to continue on. And there's so many people across this state that maybe married to a Spartan or a Wolverine. There's mixed families. So it's sort of
Coach, you're breaking up there.
okay.
Were you enjoying life in Florida? Or are you in the East?
No doubt. I'm at the lake.
Oh yeah, see there
Lake
it is.
Michigan. Is that better?
Yeah, this is better.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. One thing that I absolutely loved about your coaching style and about you is just the life lessons and the themes. And when I was coaching high school, and I know every year I already knew what my theme was. It was the theme previously for Michigan State, such as chase it, rise up, you will be the one. When did those come to you? And another thing too, like that Rose Bowl video, I think that was like the best thing in the world when you were out there in the summertime before and made that video. When do you get those ideas for what the theme will be?
Well, that's a hard one. They just sort of sit around on a beach or someplace and try and think about things as I go forward, and there's going to be a little bit something different. And I thought really that when I said that you would be the ones, that was at the banquet, and didn't go in there thinking that. I just into the banquet thinking that. I just really felt strongly that we lost 5 games by 13 points, and there was a possibility that we could do great things. So that's sort of just what I said to them, and it sort of stuck. And then going out to the Rose Bowl, we were out there, so I just flipped my phone to my daughter and said, hey, take a video. So I sort of just did that on a whim. It wasn't something I planned to do or anything like that. Same with, the one that, after the 14th season, So I don't know, Jay, these things, when you're coaching, you're never off. First of all, you're always thinking about program. You're always thinking about the team. You're always thinking about what's next. And, so you're always thinking about what's the next theme and what's the next vision going forward. And so that's sort of what I did. So, some things came to fruition, I guess.
That's great. Hey, Coach D, this is Frank Cerise here again. Appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. Speaking of great things you did at MSU, a lot of plays come to mind, a lot of memorable plays. I feel like you had more than some coaches have in their whole career just in the tenure you had at MSU. Whether it's Little Giants, the Mousetrap, Rocket, the Stanford stop on 4th, obviously trouble with the snap, maybe even the block kick versus Baylor. Is there one that sticks out to you more than the others? Is there one that kind of, you got on the top shelf as your favorite play, whether it's a play call or just a play that happened?
Well, I think that the ones that when we walk off and win the game are probably the most special, when the game's over. But, I think the bottom line is that, those things don't happen unless you have great execution by the people that are doing it. So those moments sort of, to me, they belong to the players that are involved, to our football team. And I'm never going to just pick one and say that's it. Mm-hmm. I just feel like if you're going to do anything, there's got to be execution as a player, and that's what we got.
Well, one that sticks out to me, and I remember this, and I was even a part of it, it was trouble with the snap, because I remember I was sitting at home in Buffalo watching that game, and we're all on a former players group chat, and we're thinking to ourselves, like, man, okay, we're going to have to eat crow for a year. We'll get them next year at our place. That's the thought process that's going. And then all of this starts unfolding in front of, and like, you could just see like the people started calling, FaceTiming each other. And it was just crazy. Like that being crazy for me in my living room. What was your thought process and what, like, going into it? I know obviously you were like, okay, we're going for broke. Like, what was the thought process behind that? Was there something that you saw, in, previous weeks with Michigan's punting and their punter, or you just say, hey, this is what we got to do?
No, it was more like, this is what we got to do. I don't think we're going to return the punt 90 yards in 10 seconds, after you'll have one play maybe after that. So I thought the best thing to do was go after it. And the best way to go after it was to, go after it hell bent. So, we brought them all, even brought the guys off the edge, off the wide receivers. And, the interesting thing about that is that, the night before everybody was sort of jacked up. And so I was riding the bus and to the game, and I said, we got to get that feeling back. And so I had everybody stay on the bus for 10 seconds, and I counted to 10. And say, hey, we're going to get those 10 seconds back, and we did. So that to me was, but as far as when that did happen, I can't place myself what I did or anything like that. I was sort of like everybody else, sort of stunned. I was probably sort of bouncing down the sideline, but never seen a picture. I've never seen a picture of me in that game when that thing happened. So it was interesting.
Hey, Coach, it's Chandler again. What do you think? Did you prep any different going into a rivalry game? Anything leading up to the week of? Is there any different prep and practice or your mindset, or do you treat it just like every other week? And with that, what do you think is the key to this week's game?
Well, I think that we do a little bit of something different maybe every week, but for the most part, and I think that's the case with any game, we want to change up a little something when I was coaching. But for the most part, all the preparation was beforehand, months before, And, when you're playing a rivalry game, you work on them every day. I mean, you recruit against them. Everything you do is in mind with, okay, what are we going to do to win that football game at some point, whether it's a recruit or whether it's whatever it is. I mean, you're never too far away from it, but, we had 5 years. We had a scouting report, Jay. You know how thick those things were. And
yeah.
It was a 5-year scouting report on Michigan, and it was in depth like that. So in depth like that for 5 years. What have they done the last 5 years? What trick plays? What their favorite plays on third down? How they attacked our defense or offense or whatever it is. But I don't think that's any different than what anybody does. We had 5-year studies on Iowa. It's and then going into the game, there's always going to be a little bit something. But I think it's going to be different. But I think a lot of times it's the players that they create a little bit of that, let's do this. Or, when you talk to your unity counselor or something, you're trying to say, okay, how do you want to finish up practice or whatever the case. So, but it's exciting. I will say this, now that I'm out of it, just going to a Spartan football game, and I'm walking in and, walking through a tailgate or walking across the parking lot, and you're going to laugh about this, JU, but I go, well, that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
I'm used to walking in there with 100 people, seeing 100 people on the field, looking up in the stands and saying, man, there's a lot of people here and it's loud, and then walking out with 100 people. And, I'm not used to walking in with all the, when it's all going on the outside.
Right.
It's a big deal. So looking forward to being there this weekend.
Yeah, and Coach D, that's that was something I was going to ask you. In a week like this, you got 2 undefeated teams, top 10. That's Michigan State. It's one of the greatest rivalries in sports. I know you miss it. I'm curious what you miss the most. Is it hard to not be the head coach of Michigan State on weeks like this, or what aspect do you think you miss the most about a week like this?
No, first of all, Coach Tucker's doing a great job. He's got them playing really well, and players are playing very, very well as well. And they've got some big play guys on offense and defense. So I'm excited for them, first of all. You're always going to miss some part of your job when you end it, when you retire. It's always going to be some of it you miss. There's other parts you don't. That's sort of where I'm at like that. But I guess what I miss the most is walking off with a win. I don't miss walking off with a loss, that's for sure.
Right.
So walking off with a win and watching your players celebrate. I think, J.U., as you remember being in the locker room, when players celebrate, there's nothing like it.
Oh, yeah,
There's
definitely.
nothing like that. You just feel a sense of you helped make something happen that was very special to a lot of people, and that's what I miss.
Yeah, I missed the Thursday practice and how you used to look forward to my dance that I was going to break out every Thursday. But
you're choo-choo.
So there's one thing. See, that's the side of things that people from the outside looking in don't see about you. So if they see you, they see the stoic guy on the sideline who like never smiles and everything like that. But from the inside of the building, us as players, like we see that side of you. And real quick, before we get you off here, there's this little thing that we play. It's called Over-Under. It's just a simple game. Is it overrated or is it underrated? Frank's going to ask you 3 questions, 5 things, and if you just say it's overrated and why, or is it underrated and why?
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. First on the list, I know you came from Cincinnati, so we wanted to know Cincinnati chili, over or underrated?
Underrated.
Okay. All right. Next on the list.
People in Cincinnati who are out there. It's underrated.
Yeah, right. Next one on the list. This one's from J.U. He's a big Josh wine drinker. Red wine Josh wine drinker. Josh wine, over or underrated?
Overrated.
Oh, you're breaking his heart.
Well, I
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3 on the list. Big talk of NCAA these days. Rule change that you didn't really have to deal with too much, but the new name, image, and likeness rules in the NCAA, over or underrated?
Underrated. Have a huge impact.
Great.
Long term.
Number 4 of 5 here. Something that us Sparties, I feel like, deal with a lot, especially into days leading up to a game this weekend. But bulletin board material, is it over or underrated?
It's overrated. I think when the game starts, all that stuff goes out the door, and you play to play, and I think the emotion and the adrenaline has to be maintained on a football field, and that's tough to do. You got to be able to handle adversity, and I think that's overrated.
Absolutely. And then last on the list, 5 of 5 here. We got to know, pleated khakis, over or underrated?
Jeez, overrated.
I don't know. I thought you had.
Pleated? I mean, if you just said khakis, but you said pleated?
Yeah,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, maybe they're coming back.
Coach, thank you for taking the time to jump in on with us. I got to say, a lot of former players say this: retirement looks good on you. You're smiling. You're enjoying your time with your family, your grandchild. Your daughters are growing up. Miss Becky, everyone. From us, thank you for coming on. And
thanks for having me, J.U.
Yeah,
I tell you why you coach. You coach for players, and that's been why I'm always coach. Just to be a part of players' lives and watch them grow as people. And in the middle of those things, you win some football games, those type of things, and you celebrate things. But there's a lot of adversity you got to handle too. But to watch people grow, and young people grow and grow into young adult men, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, and Coach D, just coming from a fan, I was at Michigan State from 2009 to 2013. College was one of the best experiences of my life, and you and your football team are a big reason for that. Some of the most fun times celebrating your victories and your success. So we appreciate the culture you built in East Lansing, and it's still living on today. So I appreciate that, and thank you for doing this today.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. Go Green. Looking forward to the game. Beat Michigan.
Go White.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Let's go.
All right, guys.
All right, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
See you.
Bye-bye.
20 minutes.
That was sick. That was sick.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Let's go. I thought that was great.
Yeah. I thought so
so too.
That was awesome.
White, overrated. guy.
What dance you gonna do? Type away. You ever heard that? I never heard of that. You better check it out. Rich Homie Quan. Rich Homie Quan. All right. I like that thing.
I drop top of my whip, baby. That car driving make you feel some type of way. I know you do. That custom brightly make you feel some type of way. I'm shining, ho. This bitch on wig got me feeling some type of way. Okay. Easy cause my homies rich, you feel some type of way. That right, too. Some type of way. Make you feel some type of way. Her she wanna fuck me, know you feel some type of way. Mr. CEO, it's what my title say. Me and my homies DJ Ho, he feel some type of way.